right. Hi, everybody.
Hello,
Welcome,
everybody.
welcome, welcome, welcome. And it's another beautiful day in the neighborhood because we have Susan Lynn with us. And
Oh,
welcome to you, Susan.
thank you.
Welcome.
Happy to be
Yeah.
here.
I'm glad you are. A lot of people telling me, I asked some of them to post some questions, and I do have some questions from the community board. But a lot of people said they were excited to see us again together because they enjoy us working together. So I'm really happy you're here. Thank you so much.
I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you. And thanks all
Thank
you guys for joining us.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks everybody for being here. Yay, we're glad you're here. And even Larika's here from over in Sweden. So welcome,
Wow.
welcome, welcome. Hi, Terry. Hi, Lise. Hi, Craig. Hi, everybody. We aren't really doing personal questions today, everybody. Last time Susan and I came on, it worked out really well that I was able to ask her guides some questions that even some questions she'd never really asked them before. So I don't know that we can do that again, but we can certainly try to ask some questions of her guides that may not come up because most of the time you do mostly the political ones, don't you, Susan, on your when you do it.
I
When you
do it, but I'm happy. I would like to do more spiritual. To be
Yeah,
honest
that's
with
what
you, it's just the
yeah,
politics is so
it is.
hot right now, and I can't.
I know you
You know,
can't break away from it. I
yeah, but
understand.
I
Yeah.
love the spirituals, so
Yeah.
I'm happy to do that too.
Oh yeah, I'm really happy that you're able to do that. So I want to just congratulate Susan. She got her over her 10,000 subscribers this last week. I think you're up to 10,100 or something. I don't know.
Thanks to
If
you
you
guys.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Obviously, thanks to you
There's an
guys.
awful lot of people who depend on your readings and love to watch you and are so thrilled to hear when you come on, and you also allow people to ask questions, and that makes a big difference to people. So congratulations, that's wonderful.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. And your channel is growing too. I mean, I just
Mine-
love our community. Our all of us are growing
Mhm.
together, which is
Absolutely.
beautiful. Really and beautiful. I love it.
It is. I'm seeing a lot of people that went to yours and Kim's classes, going out there and opening up their own channels, becoming mediums and psychics and tarot card readers, whatever it might be. And, we have some of those folks here in the chat right now. And I just want to say to them, thank you for taking what you learned and bringing it out to the community. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And
Hi,
look,
Kevin.
Kevin just popped in, the healing medium. Hey,
Yes,
Kevin.
and I know you're doing shows with Kevin as well, and
Yeah,
the two of you are great together. So that's really awesome. That's beautiful.
it is.
And
It's a lot of
I
fun.
I also saw Sybil Harmony on your show with you, and
I
she's
love
going to be
Sybil.
coming on. She was supposed to come on this week, but I was sick. She's coming on next week, but she did work on my COVID for me, and was
Nice.
so kind and loving to me. So yes, I just
She's
have to shout out.
wonderful. You guys are going to be so symbiotic. She's
Uh,
wonderful.
she is wonderful.
You guys
Absolutely.
haven't checked her out. Sybil Harmony. Sybil Harmony is her channel, right? I think.
That's right. Yes, I
Yeah.
believe so. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm
Check
excited to
out
have her
everybody's
on.
channel. Pure Visionary is here.
If you're a
You want to check
visionary.
out that channel and Kevin's
Yeah.
channel. Um,
Uh-huh.
we have so much talent, right, in our
Deb
community.
H. Deb H. Purple Elephant is here. And
Yes.
but other people too. Larika Bretherton has a channel. Hello, Wildfire, and Valerie has a channel. And Sherry has a channel.
Yeah.
Look at
Yep.
that. Oh, and Tarot Stash Gerald is here.
Oh,
We're
cool.
happy to see all of you. Hi, everybody. Thanks for
Yeah.
coming. Yeah,
It's a
thanks for coming.
party. We're having
It
a party.
is. It's a pate. It's a pate. So it wouldn't be a pate for me without Freddie Mercury, of course. And,
Oh, well.
the fact that if you don't know, Susan shares a birthday with Freddie. But Freddie, they found a new song and they just let it out yesterday,
For real.
that he had sung. It's called Face It All Alone, and they just released it, and so I have to ask, is he happy about that? I hope he is.
He's taken the long view. I don't know what that means, but he says He's taking the long view. He's, you know that he never let go. Well, at least I don't know. Here's what he's telling me. He was a perfectionist, so he didn't let somebody else do his stuff. He did a lot of this stuff himself. And so, hello, they dug around his private stuff. They got his, it's irritating to him. I mean, he's got opinions. There's something about a chord being off. That's not at all the way the chord was supposed to be played. He's got opinions. So he's taken the long view. He says overall he feels good about it when he can get some distance from it. He feels good about it because he feels like there's a part of him that likes that it gives him immortality, right? I mean, so now he's sort of coming back to life. But I will say this, and you don't have to answer this question. But when you mentioned Freddie Mercury, the first thing that he said to me was something about you and new undergarments. Have you bought some new undergarments recently? I swear to God, that's what he said.
Yes, I have.
Girlfriend.
Oh my goodness, Freddie. He's watching me, I guess, Susan. What can I say?
Jesus Christ. Well, I mean, I think he likes the lingerie department, is what I think.
Okay.
And I think that he was like, let's go with Allie. She's shopping for lingerie or.
Oh, that's so funny.
Whatever it was.
That's funny.
The very first minute he started talking about underwear. I'm like, you want me to ask her if she's got underwear, bought new underwear? And he's like, no, I'm just telling you she just did. Like, thanks for sharing that with me. I don't know.
Can't have any secrets if I ask about Freddie. I know that. And that's his first. When he got dressed up sometimes, because he would cross-dress when he went to parties and things, he always wore the most beautiful red and garters and all that stuff. So that's probably where that's all coming from. Yes. But thank you, Freddie. Thank you for noticing.
What's that?
Oh, Susan, that's funny. That's really funny.
I mean, literally, this is the life of a medium. Like, they're going to tell me stuff that I don't really think I should share with this person. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
but with me, it's fine. With me, it's fine. Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah. And this is Freddie Mercury from Queen, who's been dead since 1991, but not gone. Yeah. Dead, but not gone. Just not here on this side.
Still hanging out with Allie. Just like Prince drops in on me sometimes still.
Does he really? Oh, that's really funny. Yeah. Oh, my God. That's wonderful, Susan. I'm glad to know that. All right. So I'm going to start with some of the questions that we got, and we'll see where this goes. I do want everybody to know I'm not taking any questions this time. We're just going through some questions, and we're not doing anything really personal. I recognize that I did ask that question about Freddie, but it was more for his song. But then he got personal, so what can I say? All right. So here's a question that's actually an older question, but it's interesting. We know that he didn't come up with this. Who actually originated Reagan's trickle-down economics revolution? Any ideas?
I can't tell you his name, but it's a man, and he's not very tall, and he's thin but not trim. If you understand what I mean, you know, like some people can be lumpy but not fat, but he's not trim. And he's I don't know who that person is. I don't know.
Is it Alan Green? It's not Alan Greenspan.
It's not
is
Alan
that name?
Greenspan?
Not Alan Greenspan. No.
Because wasn't Alan bald? This guy feel like he has some hair.
Okay.
This guy could have been an economist. He could have just been
just somebody. Yes.
An economist that said, hey, this is what we need to do. But I don't see him having a lot of publicity or a public life. I feel like he was they're calling him the architect of it, so he was behind the scenes kind of person.
Not very smart.
But of course, but of course, wasn't Newt Gingrich or some of those other people involved in that, or Tip O'Neill? There was a lot of people who were involved in that, or who championed that.
Yep, you're absolutely right. That was a big deal then, and they really thought that it was going to work out. But
it didn't. But they're still trying to get it to work out.
They are. They're still working on it. Valerie, I'll try to ask your question. I've got some questions already, but I will try to get to it, dear. Will our next Congress in the next term finally remedy the disastrous SCOTUS corporations are people?
I'm hearing yes. That's a big deal. I'm hearing yes.
Good.
I mean, I can't. There's no equivocation there. It's just yes. So.
Okay. Oh, I hope so, because it has created so many problems with taxes and all these other things. But that is a good question.
And the dark money, and the dark
money.
Too, I mean, that's our problem. Is this? We don't know where this dark money. And I think that we will, when we get through this election, like by January and February, I get this sense that Americans will. I don't know why they show me my eyes being red rimmed. Like how when you've seen something that scared you to death and you're just like, like you have this sense of having seen, something that's just terrified you, and that causes you to act. So I really feel like after January, a lot more of this evidence is going to come forth from Jan 6 and from 45 and from SCOTUS. And we're going to be doing some heavy lifting this next 2 years of Congress.
Wow.
We're gonna have a majority. I don't know if we're gonna have a super majority. I swear, I wish, I pray, send white light.
I know.
Do whatever you have to do. I mean, I don't even care. Do a ritual that involves chocolate in a bathtub. I don't care. I'm not saying that I have done that. I'm just saying that if you thought about it, it might not be a bad idea. But we need a super majority to get over the filibuster. But we will have a majority. We're still going to have to deal with these Manchin, Sinema, and Tulsi finally tossed herself to the other side.
Oh, I know. It was not really that surprising.
No, but I'm glad. Just go.
Yeah. Absolutely. Wow. Well, that's an interesting. That would be great. We would love that. All right. Let's see. So here is, and I think this question is dependent upon what you've just said, which is getting the majority. But if we do you think that this midterm will be the final wake-up call for the modern GOP? Or are they going to be destined to go the way of other parties, which is out?
Well, you're using two words that as an oxymoron, and that's modern and GOP. So the guides are having a whole problem with your modern GOP. But I would say that what they're telling me is that, and that's a really good question because, the guide said way back when around Jan 6 that Liz Cheney would either take over the Republican Party or cut it in two. And that is the truth. This woman will do that. She sees herself as the face of the new Republican Party. Now, and I do think that this midterm will cause certain people to become disenfranchised and disillusioned, like maybe McConnell and Lindsey, and they'll just be tired of being in the minority. Like the writing's on the wall. I'm not going to be able to do anything for 2 years. I'm out. Peace out. But see, that doesn't change the whole party.
True.
So if you're asking about changing the whole party, I had a little more hope for this about 2 months ago, but right now it looks like you're going to see some kind of presidential candidate, Republican presidential candidate that's going to be not very enlightened. And I know y'all are thinking enlightened and GOP. There you go again.
Herschel Walker? No.
Right. But I think that we could have a Republican candidate that's a little bit more moderate. And I don't think we're there yet. I just don't think we're there yet. They seem to be dug in, this group of extremists.
So are you seeing Liz Cheney out there further with regard to what she does after she gets out of her position, or is this something she's already starting to work on?
She's already working on it. She's already making her, I don't know what that is, like her pub persona. She's already making up her persona. But I don't see right now, and this is pretty far out, but I don't see Republicans winning in 24. I don't see a Republican president. So I think Cheney might be, 2028 or further out. I mean, she's young. She's got time to wait. But she will stay relevant. Her goal is to stay relevant.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm feeling like also that Adam Kinzinger, who I know has other things to do, I'm feeling he's either going to eventually flip into the Democratic or Independent Party, but he'll be called, I believe, once everybody gets through all this BS, that he'll be called to come back into politics. Do you feel that way?
Yes.
Do you feel that way? Yeah.
Is he currently a House? Is he a rep?
He is a rep. Yes, he's a congressman.
I actually see him becoming a senator.
Really? Oh, he's also endorsing all of the Democrats in Illinois. So, and he is a Republican. So, my feeling is if he could wrap himself around some of the Democratic ideals and just maybe be a moderate Democrat, then he would be okay.
Or even a moderate Republican.
Yeah.
I mean, true. His voting, he looks and sounds like a moderate Republican.
He does.
But when you look at his voting, he's not.
He's not. So, okay. But he's still, what is he, in his 30s, I think?
Yeah, he's very young.
Still a young guy. Yeah.
He's not done. He's got designs. He would really, he sees himself getting all the way up to vice president. So they have plenty of time to remake themselves and to change their,
Sure.
voting.
No, patterns. I don't know what it is. I've always liked him very much, even before he, was, but I'm not a big fan of most Republican people because they're just not in the Congress or the Senate, because they're not like that. But this man appears to be a little bit more like this. All right, so I have another question that's kind of different, Susan. The personal computer has changed our life so dramatically, it's hard to envision what life would look like without it. Same for the cell phone. What new invention or technological innovation that's already in development will similarly impact over the next 20 years?
Well, we're going to, where they're showing me, we're going to, years. Okay. So let's just say 15, even starting in 15 years. You're going to see, of course, automation. You're going to see self-driving cars. Now, the thing about when all the cars are self-driving, then it works, right? Because then you're not in a traffic jam because nobody's trying to get 3 lanes over because they missed their exit or slamming on their brakes because their coffee spilled. So you're going to see less traffic. So I see automation of cars all the way around, and I do see an opportunity to take the automation off. So within cities, it will be mandatory. It'll automatically come on, but on a highway, you'll be able to take it off if you want to. So I see that, but I also see this, and I don't know if this is good or bad, but you know how the kids really have this ecosystem of they live on their computer, right? And they have friends all over the world that they literally meet up with at 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. or whatever. Their life is on in this virtual world.
Right.
Now, some of those kids go out and work, and some of them work from home, and some of them don't work. But as we go into the next 15, 20 years, I see that becoming more. I see that becoming a bigger part of our lives because those kids are going to be adults or have kids. But also there's some other reasons. I see that, the air quality might not be very good. And you're just off, or perhaps global warming, it's 110 degrees when normally it would only be 80 or 90. So I feel like we're moving into these sort of, pods almost that we're going to be living in. And sadly, the people that have money are going to be the people that get in the car and drive and go see the Grand Canyon. But if you don't have money, you just put on your VR and
that was what I was going to say. Yeah. The metaverse will explode and people,
and they blow wind on you and they make it so that you're literally flying. Well, why? Who needs to leave their house at that point?
That's very true.
And then I'm not sure about our how we interact at that point. Like, where are the other humans except for through a computer? So I think this is really not the best thing, but this is what I see us going towards. Also, they just showed me, right, these kids are at risk in their schools. And pretty soon they're going to be like, I'm not going to school. I don't feel safe. And then here we go back to
back to being at home.
Schools, right? I mean, it's really something that I don't think humans are aware enough of. If we were aware of it, we could maybe start making some choices.
Well, the other thing that we have to consider is if you're home all the time and you're attached to the computer, then we're going to have a lot of obesity, and we're also going to have a lot of people that aren't, physically fit unless they're working in that metaverse to do exercise or something. It's kind of, like you say, it's kind of iffy. Yeah,
it's iffy.
The other thing I wondered about was, and when I first asked this question of my students, actually, it was 5 years ago, and my students all looked at me like I had 3 heads. But I asked what they thought about microchip, like they do for animals. Yeah. And now there are people who are microchipped for lots of different reasons. And I could see it being beneficial, say, for someone with Alzheimer's, if they get lost somewhere, or if you had a huge medical records you needed to have. But to me, that's also kind of invasive into our personal liberty. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
The military is going to be the first one that microchips because they want to know where their soldiers are. And they can tap in and see if the soldier's injured or if their blood pressure. I mean, they can literally get real-time health information. So there's a benefit to it, but that's kind of where it starts, right? It starts in the military and then it becomes adopted throughout the society.
Yeah. I could see somebody having a microchip on their arm and somebody, cutting it out and stealing their bank account stuff. You can think of nefarious things that could happen. It's kind of scary.
Or just holding you down and reading it with some kind of reader, right?
I know. Right? What's your account number? Okay, let's look at it. The
way of robbing somebody is going to be like, oh, I got your information, game over,
Sounds like a sci-fi movie, but it could be very possible.
It's real possible.
So Maddie Churn is, with this question says, do you see a metaverse for schools also? Do you think they would have VR? You do for the VR? Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. Well, good, I guess. Thanks for the answer anyway. But Deb H., do you think we might retreat to smaller communities? I think we will need to. And I think people like us who have lived in community and enjoy being able to see each other, I think that we will be begging for that. I mean, don't you, Susan? It will be very hard.
We're on the way out. I mean, we're talking 20 years from now.
True. That's true.
50 years from now, that's a new game and a new situation. And then, the only thing that's been pushing this or keeping this from becoming a bigger deal is the military is down like 20%. They can't find enough people that can meet the physical or the mental or the intellectual test. But as we go to robotics, we won't need them anyway. So
that's very true.
There won't be any pressure for humans to, except for maybe healthcare, like if we have universal healthcare, which I do think we're going to be moving towards, then that will be something. I don't know. It's all very interesting.
It really is. Oh my goodness. All right. So I have this question next. And I don't know if this is because of being starseeds. This was another thing that I wanted to bring up was starseeds. Those folks that are here from other planets, that have lived on other planets, just in case nobody knows what I mean, that have come down here maybe for the first time. And I think we talked about this probably in the past, you and I, but is that still what your guides are saying, that a lot of them are, head sort of star seeds and bringing in new energies?
The autistic kids. It's not that simple. They're saying it's not that simple. It's I don't know if I want to say that. It's very controversial.
Yeah.
I feel like they're just saying it's not that simple. But
there's no pat answer. Okay.
Yeah. It's a more complicated answer, but I would like to just briefly talk about starseeds because this is such an important thing that I talk about when I'm doing readings. I would say 5 a week are starseeds, and just really briefly, what my guides have said to me. Now you can Google it, and there's a lot of different definitions, but I see them as 3 groups, okay? And Dolores Cannon, I think, calls them the volunteers, the 3 waves of volunteers. But in my estimation, if you're new here to this, and I'm a starseed, and I think you're a starseed. So if you're new here to this world, you don't fit into your family. You don't know why. You feel like you're a zebra and they're giraffes, and you're like, I don't know why I don't fit in. And sometimes your family picks that up and says, you're a goody two shoes, or why are you so different? Why you always have to be weird? Why do you have to be different? You don't know. This is how you came out of the womb, right? You just came out of the womb feeling like, I don't fit in. Now, in the first group of starseeds, you can also have some sort of weird autoimmune or some sort of weird allergies because you're basically allergic to Earth. And it's not even diagnosable. Also, when you're in that first group, you want to go home. You don't want to go to college. You don't want to integrate into the society. It doesn't feel good. Why are they so judgmental? Why are they so racist? Why do they not love the environment? Why are they all killing each other? None of it makes any sense. So then the second group, you drop away the medical, but you keep all the other things, and you still want to drop out of society, but you typically don't. You're kind of sort of barely, you're like, they're showing me like training wheels that are uneven. So you're kind of like this, like through life.
Like a weeble.
The third group drops away a lot of that. They're integrated. They go get the degree. They have the career, but deep inside, they still don't feel connected. They still don't feel like they belong. They don't know what the heck is going on. They just feel slightly unsettled. Now, also, if you're a starseed, you often also have abilities because you haven't been on this planet for 100 or 1,000 incarnations with this gravity in our societal, mores, norms just beating you up. Okay, so you come here and your psychic abilities are just like really easy. Like you're open. Now, I was born open, like the barn is open. But I never knew I was psychic or a medium because I didn't want to know. It was too scary for me, right? But I am very open. So I've been told that I have had 4 lives in the Milky Way, 4. So I'm not from around these parts. And I came into my family and I was 4 older brothers and sisters. And I'm like, why are y'all racist? Why are you beating these people up? Why are you doing this? Like, I really truly blew their minds. Like I went against every tradition and I just came out of the womb like that. That's the definition to me of a starseed.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I also know, and we've done this before with Anne Marie. She looked up in your chart. You can find out where you're from. And so I know I'm an Andromedan, and I've been looking at the things that make that so. And so is Keith, because everything I check off just strikes me completely. And so it's really quite interesting. But and it did tell me that I would move all over the place, that I'd have lots of relationships, and that I'd be, seeking out this or that, but later in life. And that's, all my life I did, but then I'd let go and do something else. And so that just worked out that way. That is just
explain your life, right? I mean, I think it can be helpful to know this stuff because you don't feel so weird or so, why am I an outsider? This is why. This is an explainer for you. And you went into the actual place that you were from, and now you understand, like the place that I'm from, that I forget what it is, but I think they might be telling me Lyra right now, is all about community. And when my guides told me to do this, they said, you're going to create a community. That's all they chanted to me all the time. Community. So that's what I'm trying to do here on YouTube, is create a community.
Right.
And that's what you're doing. And that's what we're all doing.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Because, we're all workers. We just all have different ways of working. And, but it's fascinating. And somebody just asked, how do you find out? You have to have your astrological chart done. And there is a place in the chart that tells you where you may have been from before. You can have an astrologer look into it. And it's just fascinating if you get the chance to do that. And like Susan said, you can then go online, and there's lots of information about each one of these. There's, Hydra and Orion and Andromeda and all the other ones that are on there as well. And it's just fascinating. It really is. So
you can also get it done. Like I got mine through Akashic Attunement through Bob Brunges. With AkashicAttunement.net. He does your Akashic records.
Right.
So there's lots of ways you can find out. But you need to make sure that the astrologer that you go to understands how to do this, because the average astrologer doesn't know this. Is Anne Marie doing astrology?
As far as I know, she sent me for my birthday. She sent me my year again, and I was really thrilled to get it. So yes, she's probably still on. But I did also put up Bob Brunge's name, and he has a Akashic Attunement, and he does past life. I'm sorry. He goes into the Akashic records, and we'll talk to you about your lives and so on. Just fascinating, and that's what we like doing here. We like having you know all these places that you can go, because we know some things, we don't know everything, and it's always nice to have a little validation from others that are more versed in what they're doing. So not that we aren't, but there's always that we have to be humble. So Singing Tree asked, do you have any tips or suggestions on developing our innate psychic and mediumship gifts? Which I think is a great question for some of us.
Yeah, that's a great question. First of all, I want you to really simply, I want you to pay attention to how you talk. So if you say to your friend or your husband or your wife or whoever, I just know they're going to get the job. I just feel they're going to get the job. I just heard they're going to get the job. I see them getting the job. When you talk like that, you're giving a little giveaway. If you say, I just see her getting married next year. Well, we say these things all the time, but we never stop to think, well, how the heck do you know that? How did you see that? Wait a minute. What are you talking about? So that's a clue. When you say see, that means you're clairvoyant. You're psychic seeing. I just feel she's going to get that job. Clairsentience. You're tapping into your psychic feeling. So pay attention to how you talk, because that's a little giveaway. And then other than that, I would say to right. So start tapping into your psychic ability. So, like let's say you're going to the grocery store and ask your guides, should I go this way or that way? Which is the way that has the less traffic? What should I wear today? What stone? What crystal? Just start asking questions and feeling into that. You'll be surprised. And whenever you say things like, I don't know what made me do this, but I'm so glad I did. When you say the words, I don't know why I did this, I don't know why I had this thought, that's your spirit guides. Mm-hmm. That wasn't your thought. That was them giving you a thought that appeared like your thought. So pay attention to all of those things is what I would say. And just pay attention to the signs that they're sending.
That they're sending. It's It's you learning to empower yourself with knowing that that just didn't come out of nowhere, that there's some other thing that's there, and it's listening to your gut. It really is. Absolutely. The other word I really love is the word spell. And I know that if some of you are witches, you use those words, but really spelling, we had to learn spelling in school. We had to learn how to spell words. So words are spells in a lot of ways. So you never want to say anything negative. You only want to find, I am that, I am enough, or I am. And yes, I agree, Susan. I love those suggestions. And we just have to take that they are meant for us as signs. And, I love that, because we also ask so-and-so, if we're living with somebody, we'll say, should I wear the green dress or the pink dress or whatever? Now we can just ask ourselves.
You might be surprised. You might pick up that green dress and you might think, oh, that's going to be itchy. And I want you to stop and say to yourself, wait a minute, that dress has never been itchy. You know what I mean? Like, yes. And if you're like me, you'll wear it anyway just to see if it's itchy, and then you'll be like, God, I should have listened to them, but
Definitely.
Pay attention to those thoughts and those things.
Yes, intention is the key, Deb. That's right. And Marsha, I believe, yes, you can have more than one of those gifts. Yes,
that's can have what all of them.
The clairs, you could be clairsentient, clairaudient, all the others. But some of them are stronger usually, aren't they? Because I know I have claircognizance where isn't that knowing, just knowing?
Yeah, psychic knowing.
Psychic knowing. Yeah.
Yeah. Usually you have two that are prominent and then a third that's pretty good. And then the next two are not that good.
Right.
Or you have one that just kind of is very active and then it'll slow down and another one will become more active.
That's right. And things can come and go. And then also just open right up for you when you don't even expect it to do that. So, wow. Thank you for the question. I think it's helpful for everybody, and it's important to answer some of those questions when we do shows like this. It really is. So Larika says, I have a question from Susan's Guides. What actions can we take as humans to help lessen the polarization we see across the world today? God. Not specific to countries, just us humans. Thank you, Larika. That's a great question.
That is a phenomenal question. And I'm going to tell you, it's not an easy thing to do, but this is where we are. This is where this is truly, honestly, where we're going to be in about 3 to 4 months. What we can do is try. They're showing me a couple of different things. What is that? Don't throw the stone. Don't be the first to cast a stone. I don't know what that is.
Yes. It's they who are without sin can cast the first stone. And so most people can't ever cast the first stone because everybody has sinned, basically.
So that doesn't that underscore, at least for me, it does, that you're saying that I'm online with these Trumpers and these MAGA people because I'm not. But so that elevates me above them. I'm elevating myself above them, right? So we don't want to actually be judgmental.
Right.
You can raise your vibration, Butterfly Kisses Healing, absolutely. And you can try to become an observer. So being an observer is probably the best thing. And that is where you just step back and you don't get involved emotionally. But as you know what, and I'll just say this, because to me, if you want to study it, this is how it's been done in the past, is the guides show me apartheid and how they were able to overcome apartheid. 1 week, these people are jailing you and beating you. And then the next week, they can't do that, but are you going to jail and beat them? Nelson Mandela, look at how Nelson Mandela brought South Africa back together. Also, look at what happened during, maybe that's why they did that word last night in the middle of the night. Look at how Germany did reunification after the Nazis. They were they were shouting this word at me last night. Maybe that's why. So because the word means, and I'm not going to say it correctly, I don't think. Pearl shine, Persil shine, Persil shine, Persil sheen. Persil was a laundry detergent. So what this term was after the Nazi Germany fell, they started talking about being whitewashed or being cleared, being clean. Okay. We're cleaning you of your past and allowing you to have another chance.
Right. Okay. Wow. That's almost like a tower moment when you think about it, because it's come down, we've cleaned it all out, now we've got to rebuild. And wow. And that word just came to you. Wow.
No, it came. They were shouting it at me, and I thought they were saying Pershal Chani or something. And I kept looking. I had to get up. I literally could not go back to sleep because they wouldn't stop. And this is clairaudience, so it sounds like a voice in my head. Like I can hear the inflection. I could hear that it was a female. I could, so when you hear an actual voice in your head, it's startling. So I woke up, and I'm wondering if that's why they gave that to me, because we're talking about that. We're going to have to allow these people to whitewash their history, because these people are your principals or your coaches of your team, they're your butcher, they're in your community. We can't just get rid of them. We have to find a way to live together again.
We do. And this is the other thing that's really hard for people to do. And I believe that the reason it's so hard is because we live in a dualistic society where everybody makes judgments about everything, good or bad, up or down, in or out. It's got to be one or the other. There's no shades of gray in there. But observing without judgment is something we all need to do, and just say it is what it is. And that's a job. You have to consciously work on that. That isn't something that just will automatically happen for you.
That's right. And that is raising your vibration. I mean, that's that detachment. That's that.
Absolutely.
And that can help you in all areas of your life. Although, like if you get detached with your spouse and you're just not being triggered, and they're used to triggering you, then they're going to up their ante of triggering.
Your ante. Yeah.
So it's not, like she says, it's not that easy, but it's something to shoot for.
That's right. So I'm going to tag in Valerie's here. She just wonders, do you see the country being united again? Because that's part of actually what Larica had asked as well. And so
you can say the country and the world, because the other countries are also going through this sort of civil unrest. As people say, we're not going to put up with this anymore. So do I see the United States becoming? Do I see? Yes. Do I see? Yes, I do see it becoming united. They're showing me Obama. If you guys remember, not all that long ago, to be honest with you, this man would fill an entire stadium of people and be shouting, "Si se puede, yes we can." The hope, the eloquent speeches. Well, yes, we all came together behind Obama, but at the same time, there was a little faction, obviously, that wasn't following him. So we're going to bring people together, but there's always going to be a little faction that's we're not going to have utopia. It's just like what you said, Allie. We live in a dualistic world. There's always going to be something to counterbalance us.
Right. There is. So, I would like to think, though, and I know, Valerie, you think this too, that we do have the hope. And where I see this, it may not be like Obama anymore, but I do see it with Beto. I see people really rallying around him. And Texas is such a hard place for Democrats. It really is. So
I have 2 Beto signs in my yard because they stole them. So I put a note that says, every time you steal a sign, I'm donating $100 to Beto. Here's the receipt from the last $100 that I donated. Here's 2. I've doubled down on you. Make my day. I've got 2 more in the house. So,
People are actually taking them away.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
that
yeah,
makes
they
me
steal
mad.
your signs here. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, Abbott is such a something else. I won't even say.
Yeah.
All right. So El Navaltas said that she's happy she found your videos. She enjoys them. She says 20 years ago, she was getting psychic medium information that I was able to pass along, but I started to question my sanity. I began to worry my own thoughts would mix with the messages. All the worry led me to shut down. I've learned a lot since then and have a desire to help people and be of service. I felt that this, even though it's a personal question for her, I still feel it's a question all of us could have, would love an answer. Yeah.
I thought I was going crazy. I don't know about anybody else, but I thought I was going nuts. I mean, really and truly, like you start to question your sanity. And you do worry if you're a good ethical person. You should. You do worry. Is this my ego answering this question, or is this
Yeah.
the guides or whatever?
Right. Yeah.
I don't see you particularly, dear. What the guides tell me to tell people is, if you're questioning that, then you're an ethical person, and you're not likely to be putting your ego in there. It's those people that don't question it that get this hero complex, that think they're the best and I know everything and I'm the psychic. Those are the people we have to worry about. If you're checking yourself, then you're good. You're good to go.
Yeah.
For me, anybody that's watching this, they're saying, if you're giving a psychic reading or practicing or whatever it is that you're doing, the person is going to tell you, I mean, the person's going to say that doesn't resonate with me. Now, if one person says that, don't pay any attention. But if 5 people say that, then you're not having a good, clear connection.
True. That's true.
So
you could not have the right person that you have gotten information from, right? Yeah.
And you're not trusting what you're getting, so you're hedging the bets.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is right, Hypnicity. Remain humble, because each of us are on our own path and we don't know everything. And I've already said that once in this thing, that we don't. That's why we refer others out, of course. And anybody who tells you that you should follow them, that they're the only one, run for your life, because that is just not something that real spiritual people will do. So, it's and we've seen that with cults. Obviously, you can just take a look at any cult and see how those people have manipulated other people, mostly for money, too. I see that mostly a lot.
For money. And mostly if somebody says to you, and I had somebody say this recently, my astrologer said that I'm never going to make money in this life because of some placement. Okay, perhaps you have an energy, or you're experiencing an energy because of where the planets are placed, of a particular time where it's might be a little bit harder to make money or something about money, but there is nothing that affects your entire life. We are free will. This is free will land. Right. Even if you were born with a predilection towards something, which we all are, we've all had past lives, right? You're still got free will to overcome that. So don't let people tell you you're never going to find love.
Right.
You're never gonna. You've been cursed. You're never gonna find love. You're never gonna have money. Okay, that I don't agree with that.
I don't buy that either. No, never buy that. Yeah, because some of them will also say, "I can take the curse off you if you send me $300 or whatever," which is definitely a bad sign.
Not a good sign.
Yeah, it isn't good.
Or you got to buy the candles, or you got to buy this.
You got to buy this or that. That's right. So medium Betsy Palmer, who lives over on Maui, I had her on last week. She's here today, and she's fabulous. And she says that this is a united. This is the other question, but it feels like people of the world need to feel personally impacted by divisive leadership before I agree with that. And we have seen that over and over again in all these other countries. And, so many of the leaders, interestingly enough, were a lot like the former guy, if you think about it.
I know, because like a virus that spread around the world.
Yeah, Bolsonaro was, and others that we've seen.
The British guy, and his name escapes me real quick.
Tony. Is not Tony.
The
Yeah,
latest one.
the blonde-haired guy.
Yeah,
Yes.
Trump
Yeah.
Jr.
Trump Jr. Yeah. Oh, sometimes Earth Angel says I talk about stuff or I'm doing something and all of a sudden I feel a tingle sensation on my head. I think that's your crown chakra going, hello there, you're waking up. Yeah? Is that what you're thinking, Susan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would pay attention to what you're thinking and doing, and I would get a little journal and start writing that down.
Yeah. And when did it happen and what were you thinking about, right?
Yeah. You'll just forget about it. You won't remember what you were thinking and when that happened.
Right.
Why not try to get to the bottom of exactly what they're trying to tell you?
I want you to know, Susan, that many times things that you have suggested, like pulling a card every day, one oracle or one tarot card, writing it down, some of the other things that you've done, the Ho'oponopono prayer, this was like 2 years ago almost, but all of those things are always brought up and I hear them on different channels. And all of them are giving you a lot. I want you to know this, not that you need the credit, but a lot of them know that you're the one that brought those ideas to us.
Oh, that's sweet.
And honestly, we all have felt such a connection with some of those things that I just, I just wanted you to know that, and I know you're a humble person and it doesn't matter to you, but at the same time, it's important to know that your ideas and your thoughts really matter to us. And so it's just another affirmation for that.
Thank you, Allie. And it's not me, it's them. They just say, hey, go do this.
You're like, the conduit, though. You're the conduit. So, yeah.
You're right. I am a conduit. After never mind. Go ahead. I was going to talk about donuts, but they've struck donuts and cheese from my diet. So
they have. I always tell people that too. Be careful what you ask for, because if you ask for what's like Susan, that they can tell you anything, they're going to tell you what to eat, and you won't like it.
And I mean, I really felt like that was a good trade. Like I get to do your bidding, but I get to eat donuts. I don't know what happened there. Somehow I got the what.
There's a disconnect. Yeah, you need to get rid of a couple of guides that are on the Weight Watching team.
Man, I'm saying, well, oh God, I don't want to get them talking to me again.
No, I know. All right, so Harry's mom said she's seen some very realistic looking videos of creatures that look like mermaids. Are mermaids real? And if they are, or if so, what are they? Yeah.
Well, I think they're real in the sense that aliens are real and Sasquatch is real. Some people can see them. Others of us can't. We either don't want to or we're not ready to see that. But I also think fairies are real, fae are real. These are all entities and beings that exist just on the other side of the veil. And when the time is right, you can sort of have an experience with that, right?
Right.
Now, whether or not these videos are mermaids, I don't know. I don't know what videos they are, but I would say that that's what they're telling me. They're just as real as all the other things that exist in this other realm.
And some of us can see and some of us can't see because we're not aware that we can see. That's very interesting. There was also, it said that the Andromedan galaxy also hosts, there's some extraterrestrials that are coming back as silver dolphins. And so when this question came up, I thought to myself, oh, perhaps they are part of this contingent from another planet that's mostly water. And this is where they come down to manifest themselves. But I love that because, fairies and nature spirits and things like that they've been seen by people mostly out of the corner of their eyes. So, yeah. And you're right, Tony. Some ETs and elementals have a higher frequency that most of us don't see. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, a Joybird wants to say, I took your advice to journal all the little signals I get and look for patterns, and it worked. I love that bird. That's a beautiful bird you've got there, dear. Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. I'm so happy that worked for you, Joybird. Thanks for sharing.
Yes. Holly Turley's coming to us from Facebook, and she wonders, when will housing be more affordable for us?
Holly, I'm not sure if you're talking about buying a house or renting a house. And it also depends on where you are. The places where housing has gotten very expensive, I don't see it dropping more than 10 to 15%, which is not a bad drop, but they're using the word entrenched. Okay. So this could also be like parts of Colorado, or not only just California, but now parts of Colorado and different parts of the country. The housing has just gotten very expensive. Now, there are areas over towards the east and the Pennsylvania or areas in that area where you can still find some reasonably priced houses. But as far as houses dropping in general, I'm seeing 10 to 15%, and I'm not really seeing a big crash. I'm just not there. It's going to hold. And then as far as rentals go, well, it depends. The guides are talking about all the commercial space that's just sitting empty right now in all the cities. But it takes a lot of money to convert a commercial space into a residential space, because commercial spaces don't have showers and blah, blah, blah. Right. But I do see some cities, the federal government doing like half, the city doing half, and then a corporation doing, mixing it up like that. And I do see some of these places becoming available for renters. So, right. But there's a lot of pressure on all of this, and I don't see any great big changes right now. I'm sorry to say, I don't see rent coming down anytime soon. It's almost like we have to add new rentals. I don't see the actual rents coming down, unfortunately.
Some are saying also, Susan, that the reason is more people are flipping things into Airbnbs in order to make bigger money. Yeah.
And then also just in my town, I know that things that we're renting, houses that, like, I have a neighbor who rented her house for $800 a month, and it was a little 2-bedroom, cute little house. They evicted her. And now they're renting that exact same house with they put $1,000 into it. They're renting it for $1,400 a month.
Wow. Because they can get it. Because they can get
it.
Wow.
And she was on a fixed income. So luckily things worked out for her. But
wow. Well, thank you for your question, Holly. I wanted to make sure that you knew some people come over from Facebook, and we appreciate you as much as everybody.
That's really technologically savvy of you to be live streaming this on different.
You got to do it, Susan. It's not hard. Yeah, you got to do it, girl.
I know. Thank you.
Problem is that you can't really do much interaction, but it does double post everything that I post, and so that's a fascinating.
Is your Facebook page the same name, Heart and Soul Connected?
I have it on my page. Yes.
So we can find you under that on Facebook.
You can. Yes. Right. Which I also want to plug in. Also, I put Susan in the description box. I put Susan's channel. If you haven't gotten, if you're not friend, please. I'm sure there's no one here probably that hasn't already. But she also does personal readings, and you can reach her for personal readings if you're interested in that. She sometimes works with other people in collabs, but she's been doing a lot of political and personal readings for folks of late, within the last 6 to 8 months, I would say. A lot more than normal. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I really need to do something more.
No, you're doing fine. I'm just happy that you can come on every once in a while, because people love to hear from you, but it isn't a weekly commitment like it was. That was a little too hard for both of us.
I just enjoy hanging out with you.
I enjoy being with you. You know it. I always get all energized. So, Loretta Boykin, do the extraterrestrial families act as gatekeepers to the higher divine realms for us earthlings? I love that. Wow.
Gatekeepers for us earthlings. Okay. they don't see themselves as gatekeepers per se. They're not allowing or disallowing people to go. When we want to ascend, we get to ascend. This is our birthright. This is our soul's birthright. We have the ability to connect with the divine anytime. Right. So it's not that they gatekeep. I mean, and maybe no. I mean, they figure if you're going to the divine, then you're of divine energy, right? So I would say that they really, truly, in my estimation, they really only get involved around nuclear things when we're about to do something that's going to affect other planets and other existences and other galaxies. Right. That is a no-go. If we want to mess ourselves up here on Earth, then we have free will to do that as well.
Right. Wow. And I did know that. That makes so much sense because we have to have somebody out there protecting us. So,
I mean, they're protecting them. Honestly, they're protecting them. They're not really protecting us.
True.
I would say that very rarely I have encountered sort of an alien police force in different situations. Yes.
Oh, wow. Well, that sounds fascinating. Chris M says there's a big number of celebrities leaving California being toxic and negative. Is there more to this than we should know, or any more to this that we should know?
Well, taxes. They're trying to keep more money in their pocket, so taxes are one thing. But when I go into that energy, I feel like they're interesting. What they're showing me is that so there's a couple of reasons. First of all, they can be more anonymous.
Yeah,
they can be more anonymous in other parts of the country, and they can get a ranch with they can be more secure. And the other thing is they're kind of running from the fires and the earthquakes. They don't feel that settled. And I've noticed even with the bigger metaphysical people like Colette Baron Reed and Carrie Samuels and all those people and Danielle McKinnon, they all moved before Jan 6. They all moved to Nowhereville. They left the cities and went and got big land property because I think these people can sense the unrest of the people and they want more security.
Right. Yep. And you can get a heck of a lot for the money that they would spend for a place to live also in California. You
can fly in to work.
They can.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yep. There's somebody that lives in Wyoming. I can't. Maybe Ashton Kutcher and his wife have a place, I think, and they fly in all the time. They fly in all the time. Thank you, Rhett. That's very nice of you. Thank you, dear. All right, so we're at an hour, and I like to keep it that way, especially for Susan. I know she's got some taping to do later for her show on political questions.
How did you know that?
I'm just. I have no idea. Okay. It's all psychic. But I do want to wonder if there's any kind of message, any general message that either you or your guides would like to give to everybody before we leave. And thank you, everybody, for all your questions and patience. I'm sorry I couldn't get to all of them, but we're trying to do what we can do.
Really and truly, there's so much love. I think that if you could feel the love that they have for you, for all of us humans, this is a really hard incarnation, right? This is a really hard place to really just try to be a good human. It's difficult. It's challenging. And they often feel like we're heroes, like we're down here really in the trenches, boosting the vibration. We're keeping we're trying to send love and light. We're trying to keep our own vibration high. And that is why we came here. And they're so thrilled that we're here. They're so supportive of us. So really, they just want to say thank you.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And those of us that have channels here, and those of us who are working in the chat, doing all the things that you're doing, all contribute. You all contribute to this community as well, and the elevation of our vibration. And we just appreciate you so very much, and all of your kind words and comments, and the way you treat each other. I think that's really important to bring up, the fact that you treat each other so well and welcome new people into the chats. And that's fabulous. We really love you. Yeah,
absolutely.
Really. So somebody asked if we could do it again. We will try. We're not going to put a date right on it yet, but I imagine we will, because this is a lot of fun. And so, yep. We'll try to do this again and I'll try to post when we do. I'll try to post so that you can ask some of your questions, but not personal questions necessarily, because this is more for the community and for everybody. Oh, thank you, Lori. It's good to see you. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Allie. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Much love and light to all of you.
That's right. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.
Good one.